a very confusing situation arose yesterday where the Secretary General for MDC-T, Mr. Nyikadzino, issued a statement and he wrote a letter to Parliament. Have you seen those letters?
Well, I've seen the letters, but before I speak of the letters, I must correct you and say he's not the Secretary General of MDC-T. The Supreme Court has made a determination on that matter. So to continue referring to him as Secretary General, I think it's mischievous.
Okay, are you saying the MDC-T that was formed in 2018 no longer exists?
Okay, I did address this matter on several platforms, including your platform, but I realize what is at play here. So I noticed that I'm definitely dealing with Thabani Mpofu's clients. So since he fashions himself as a Latin guru, let me use a Latin term for you so that he can at least help you guys understand. What the Supreme Court said about that whole case, it simply said 21 April 2018, in other words, the Extraordinary Congress, which Dr. Kupe did at Stanley Square, which gave birth to Mao, myself, and many other people. Same with the Gweru Congress of the Alliance. This is what the Supreme Court said, and I'm giving it to you in Latin, so be ready so that your lawyer can help you out, guys. It simply said those processes or those congresses, they avoid ab initio. That's what the court said. It said they avoid ab initio. What that means is that those outcomes or the congresses, as it were, they never happen. That's what that word means.
Okay, so Mr. Nyikadzino is correct in saying that you cannot be president of two political parties at the same time.
No, it's a false narrative which he wants to impose. No one claimed to be a president of two political organizations. It's a false narrative. It's not there. It doesn't exist, doesn't even arise. I am saying to you, the court said the whole process of Stanley Square, it must be treated as if it never happened. That's what the court said. So anyone who wants to behave as if we are confused, we are not confused. That's what the court said. That is what we say to the court. When the court asked us, this is what we said through our advocate, Professor Matu. We said we concede that what we did at Stanley Square, although we thought is the best way forward, we could have done things better. So then, therefore, if the court determines that what we did was wrong and null and void, we're okay with it. And that's what the court said. And we've agreed with that. So don't pretend as if we're confused. We see the game that is being played. We are not part of the game. We are not confused. You are the ones who are confusing yourself. I can tell you now what Parliament and ZEC is going to say to Mao. ZEC is going to tell Mao that this has nothing to do with us. Parliament is going to tell you what I've just told you, that the court has made a determination on this matter. And this party which you are talking about, the courts have said it must be treated as if it never existed. That's what the court said.
Okay, so when it comes to the MPs, the senators, and the councillor, he has raised this issue. With the councillors that were voted for MDC-T, who do they belong to now?
They belong to MDC-T. Remember, MDC-T is the one that was in court. We were in court to determine who's the legitimate successor of the late Morgan Tsvangirai. And the court determined that the legitimate successor is Dr. Thokozani Kupe.
Okay, so you are saying the MP who was elected under MDC-T, the one that was led by Dr. Thokozani Kupe, has now moved to the MDC as determined by the court.
I am saying to you, I gave you a term, void ab initio. I gave you that term. Now, go to Thabani Mpofu, he will assist you guys what that means. It simply means that it must be treated as invalid from onset. That's what it means. So basically, what you are talking about is you are talking about an operation of the law or an operation of the Supreme Court judgment. the Supreme Court judgment said the members, which it called a faction of Dr. Kupe and a faction of Chamisa, must go back to one party which was led by Dr. Tsvangirai and take it from there. And that's what we have done. There's no confusion there whatsoever. And I want to raise this to you. You see, you guys get confused about nothing. Remember, the Supreme Court has inherent powers. So basically what we're speaking about right now, this judgment, is actually a law in Zimbabwe. This is the law.
Okay. So shouldn't there be an announcement of dissolution, or is this going to happen after the lockdown?
An announcement to who?
Well, if I was an office holder in my faction, am I not supposed to be given a chance or an explanation to say you are no longer in this position?
Given by who?
By the current president now. Dr. Thokozani Kupe had an office, right? Where she was operating from.
No, remember, Dr. Kupe went to court, and the party has always supported that initiative. The court processes, we've always supported that as a party or as a faction, whichever way you want to call it. We've always supported that. And every time from last year when Judge Mushore ruled, we identified ourselves with that judgment. And as we were waiting for the outcome of the Supreme Court, we said we'll abide by it. So that's again another false narrative which you want to impose there. No one needs to be given a chance to do anything. We are all waiting for this judgment, and the judgment has been pronounced, and we've identified and associated ourselves with the judgment. You have an interview of Mao, which I sent to you, when he was clear on the implications of the judgment on himself and the party which did its extraordinary congress at Stanley Square. By the way, he wants to claim that there was a party which was formed. There was no party which was formed. You don't form a party through an extraordinary congress. An extraordinary congress is done by an existing party. So I don't know what he's talking about, honestly.
Okay. Now let's go to the MPs that have issued a statement last night, who said that they are behind Dr. Thokozani Kupe.
Yeah.
What do they mean?
Which MPs?
I think Mr. Arambi Mshonga was one of them, the MDC-T MPs.
Yeah. No, they are correct, because remember what the court said. The court said the MDC-T, that faction which was led by Dr. Kupe, it must go back, same as the faction that was led by Nelson Chamisa, must go back, and both of these factions will be led by Dr. Thokozani Kupe until an extraordinary congress has been done to determine the substantive successor of Dr. Morgan Tsvangirai. So they are correct to stand by the acting president.
Okay. Is it possible that Dr. Kupe will end up without a political party?
What do you mean she'll end up without a political party when she is already the acting president of MDC-T?
Well, if she goes extraordinary Congress and loses, and the MDC-T of Nyikadzino is fired, what's going to happen?
My friend, I think we're dealing with comprehension issues here. I have said to you, the court said there is no such a party of Nyikadzino. That's what the court said. So if you want me to speak to matters that don't exist, I don't understand what you're expecting of me.
Okay, I'm just saying, let's say we go to...
The court said it must be treated as an event that didn't happen anyway. That's what the court said. So there's only one MDC-T, and its acting president is Dr. Kupe. Now, you can't say to me, if I go to an election and lose an election, I end up without a party. Let me give you an example. In 2014, Comrade Douglas Monzora ran against Comrade Chamisa, and Comrade Monzora prevailed and Chamisa lost. Chamisa didn't lose a party. Similarly, in 2019, Comrade Douglas Monzora ran against Comrade Wende, right? And when they prevailed, Comrade Wende prevailed in that contest. Comrade Douglas Monzora lost, even in a big margin, but he didn't lose his party. He's a respectable member of parliament.
Okay.
He's a respectable leader of MDC-T until the court said actually treat that Gweru Congress as something that didn't happen. And we know that Honorable Monzora is now the substantive Secretary General of MDC-T. So in a contest, in an internal contest, you don't lose your membership by exercising your right, by the way, to run. And let me also help you in terms of the law and our constitution. Anyone who runs in that extraordinary Congress, they don't lose their positions because there's only one position available there of the substantive president. That's what we're going for in that extraordinary Congress.
So whichever way it goes, Dr. Thokozani Kupe is still going to end up, if not the president, she will still be the vice president.
Of course, because that extraordinary, according to our constitution, remember these things were canvassed at court, in court rather, they were canvassed in court very extensively, right? There is a way in which you remove a standing committee member, right? And in this case, we're not going there to remove anyone. We're going to fill up a position which was left by our late president, right? And the constitution guides us in how we do that. And I can run, if I decide to run, I can run, by the way. If I win, you then replace me. If I don't win, I retain my position as an executive member and the portfolio secretary.
Okay, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
Because many people don't seem to understand how this is going to work.
Okay.
Yes, and I'm very grateful for that explanation, that clarification.
No, we're here. We're always available to educate. I have given that commitment publicly. I'm here to educate. We will help our party members. We will help Zimbabweans. We're here to serve, by the way.
Okay, now let's end by addressing the question of why Nyikadzino seems to be moving from one position to another. What is happening there?
Well, like I told you, I'm not addressing Nyikadzino, by the way, because Nyikadzino is clear on these matters, as evidenced by the interviews which he has given. He knows what is happening. I'm actually addressing Thabani Mpofu's clients. These are the people behind Nyikadzino. So don't worry, it's the last kicks of a dying horse. All of this will settle down. I think the lockdown is getting into people's last nerves. So this drama, maybe it's necessary just to take us off from the stress of the lockdown and pressures of the lockdown.
Right, Mr. Khaliphani Phugeni, it was very nice talking to you. Is there anything else you want to say before we close?
No, I would like to appeal to our government. I understand the lockdown and the extensions, that some of these things are beyond their powers, because the World Health Organization is our technical partner. It advises African countries. So some of the decisions that are made, I appreciate that the government, if they're at that room, they might have done them differently. But I'm appealing for intervention with regards to socio-economic conditions of our people. You will notice that in America, in Europe, and even in South Africa, they are giving what they will call stimulus. They are injecting cash into the poor. I am just asking our government to do QE, quantitative easing. Can we please get money into the hands of the poor? Where that money is going to come from, I'm not sure. I understand that between a rock and a hard place, but I'm really appealing. I'm saying do something. A catastrophe is loading there in the townships and in the rural areas. People are going to die. This time not from COVID, but as a consequence of the actions we have to do to combat this COVID. So I'm really appealing to the government, do something, talk to your partners, talk to whoever you can speak to, even business people, even us as opposition parties. Let us just do something. The people are going to die, and we must do everything to avoid this looming catastrophe.
Thank you very much, Mr. Phugeni, and I'll talk to you again very, very soon.
Thank you, sir. Always a pleasure.